What if I ask you what actually builds muscle? The answer isn't as straightforward as you may think. In this video, we'll break down the 5 most important factors in building muscle and how you can apply them. The first factor I want to discuss is sleep. This is probably one of the most overlooked components in building muscle, however it is one of the most important. When we sleep, it allows our hormones to hit the reset button, 2 of which play an essential role in muscle growth and recovery: testosterone and HGH. Testosterone is a huge player in regulating skeletal muscle mass, bone density, and fat metabolism, which helps your body utilize macronutrients more efficiently, which may keep fat gain to a minimum. HGH essentially lets the body know it's time to grow. An efficient amount of sleep also helps to regulate cortisol levels. Cortisol is the stress hormone which signals to your body that something is off. This will inhibit all non-essential functions, such as muscle growth and recovery, which could result in muscle loss. It's important to point out that you have to be in a chronically stressed state to experience these side effects, so that big test or that big interview won't hurt your gains. So how much sleep do you actually need? It really depends on how physically, emotionally, and mentally taxing your everyday life is. However, a good rule of thumb, according to the American Academy of Sleep Medicine, is 7 to 8 hours for persons over the age of 18. However, I find a more practical approach to be establishing a morning and nightly routine to help you try to go to sleep and wake up around the same time each day. The next factor is adequate protein intake. Now, this usually isn't overlooked with the popularity of protein supplements in the fitness industry. But why is protein even important? Protein is composed of amino acids, which are the building blocks of protein and muscle growth. These amino acids work like construction workers. When there's damaged muscle tissue from training, they rush to that area to begin to repair it and make it bigger and stronger to accommodate for the demands you place on it while working out. So how much do you need? This is a very controversial topic, as you'll find many different suggestions. However, it is safe to say if you are in a maintenance or muscle building phase to get at least 0.8 to 1 gram per pound of body weight each day. So for example, if you're 200 pounds, you should be getting anywhere from 160 to 200 grams of protein a day. However, if you are in a caloric deficit phase or cutting phase, you may need more to ensure you hold on to your hard-earned muscle while losing fat. So anywhere from 1 gram per pound of body weight to 1.10 grams per pound of body weight is a safe assumption. There's also one other situation to consider. If you are a significantly overweight individual, the numbers above may not be reasonable for you to hit. In this case, you should aim to hit 0.8 to 1 gram per pound of goal body weight. It's also important to point out that more protein doesn't always result in more muscle gain, as your body will filter excess protein to glucose. So does the timing of protein matter? Do I have to have a protein shake as soon as I finish my workout? Recent studies have shown that total daily protein consumption is what matters most when building muscle or losing fat, compared to protein timing. The protein shakes right after training theory or anabolic window theory, or even spreading your protein across meals seems to be irrelevant as long as you're getting an adequate amount of protein each day. The third factor is frequency. Frequency is how often you train a muscle. This topic can really vary depending upon your age, training experience, past injury history, and other societal obligations outside of fitness. However, recent research shows that training a muscle at least 2 times per week is the most optimal case for natural trainees. I see too many people make the mistake of going into the gym and smashing a body part for 1 to 2 hours straight, but only once a week. I know this because that's how I used to train. You're probably thinking, well, what's wrong with this method? The flaw in this classic bro split, or training each muscle only 1 time per week, is that protein synthesis, or your ability to capitalize on muscle growth, only lasts 36 to 48 hours. This means that no matter how hard you train a muscle, there will be no signal for it to grow after 36 to 48 hours has passed. You can incorporate this method in a multitude of ways: a push-pull leg split, upper-lower split, or a full body routine, or really whatever works for you. So what about training a muscle 3 times per week? The evidence on this is still inconclusive compared to 2 times per week. However, there are certain cases that this could be utilized, such in the case of an advanced trainee attempting to grow a stubborn muscle, most often seen with arms or calves. As with everything, I encourage you to apply these principles and see what's most appropriate for you. The next factor is being in a caloric surplus. This means eating slightly more calories than your body needs to support your current weight. Your body needs extra fuel to complete muscle growth and recovery. In addition, extra calories will result in greater strength increases. So you can't lose fat and build muscle? The short answer is no unless you're a true beginner. This person can complete body recomposition, or the ability to lose fat and gain muscle at the same time, because their muscles, tendons, and ligaments are desensitized to training stimuli. Simply put, the body will do whatever it can in this case to add muscle to meet the new and aggressive physical demands. It's recommended that you eat in a surplus of 10 to 15% of your caloric maintenance to gain muscle at a steady rate and minimize fat gain, and keep adjusting this number as your weight changes. It's important to note that it is possible to make muscle and strength gains while at a caloric maintenance, but results will be much more prolonged. So unless you're providing your body with appropriate fuel or calories, despite your efforts in the gym, you won't see optimal muscle growth. Alright, so the most important factor in muscle building is applying the progressive overload principle. The progressive overload principle states that you have to continuously apply greater demands on your muscles by introducing new stimuli to create a signal for muscle growth. This can be applied using 5 methods: increasing mechanical tension or weight, increasing reps, increasing sets, increasing frequency, or decreasing the resting period between sets. Something has to give to tell your muscles that their current state is no longer appropriate. The most practical method of applying the progressive overload principle is to increase the weight on your exercises, because it can be easily tracked and it is the most time efficient. For example, let's say at the beginning of the year you can bench press 135 pounds for 8 reps. To stimulate chest growth, you will need to eventually improve on something. So if in 1 month you can bench 155 for 8 reps, and in 6 months you can bench 175 for 8 reps, and at the end of the year you can bench press 185 pounds for 8 reps, you will see a substantial amount of muscle growth. This is an example of someone utilizing the progressive overload principle properly. This principle can be applied to any exercise. It's also important to understand that you won't be able to increase weight every workout, but the idea is year after year you are consistently adding weights to all of your exercises. So despite what you may have heard about using lighter weight and establishing a mind-muscle connection and just getting a pump, that muscle won't grow unless you improve on something. The old theory of you can build muscle without getting stronger has been debunked by the direct correlation of strength and cross-sectional area of muscle, or the size of the muscle. So to recap, the 5 most important factors that play into muscle building are sleep, adequate protein intake, training frequency, being in a caloric surplus, and applying the progressive overload principle. Alright guys, thanks for watching. I hope this changed your mindset on the process of building muscle. Be sure to be on the lookout for more informational videos to help you ace your fitness.